It's Saturday the 12th of March, it's just past 6 o'clock, and welcome to our weekly news programme. And in the news this week, last Sunday around 100 people from Weymouth gathered around the Jubilee clock for what was described as an emotional and touching occasion to show solidarity and pray for the people of the Ukraine. There are lots of appeals and events underway to support the people on what is a developing situation and changing literally by the day and even by the hour. It was also good to learn this week that a Ukrainian family who run a shop locally have returned safely to Weymouth, and a Ukrainian grandmother living in Weymouth will not be forced to return to the Ukraine. It has been a heart-wrenching seeing the millions of people, mostly women and children, leaving the country on TV. And sometimes we need these local stories to bring it home to us that there are many people in our community affected by what is happening all those many, many miles away. And it is very real. It is just not TV. To help the community put on events to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, Weymouth Town Council is inviting not-for-profit organisations and schools and charities to apply for a grant from Weymouth Town Council. A maximum of £500 per group is available to meet the costs of community events over the special bank holiday weekend of Thursday the 2nd to Sunday the 5th of June this year. A diverse range of applications will be considered, but examples of events that could be eligible for this funding include community parties, picnics, flower shows and exhibitions or displays. The money will not be able to fund street parties in residential streets. However, if a community group wish to hold a street party style event in a community hall or space or outdoor green, then that could be considered as well. If you're interested in applying for a grant, please visit the Weymouth Town Council website, where the grant policy and application form can be found. The closing date is 4 p.m. on Friday the 8th of April. 3 beaches around Weymouth are amongst those earmarked for the Great Dorset Beach Clean, which is back for 2022, taking place over the weekend of the 2nd over the week of the 2nd to the 10th of April, coinciding with the first weekend of the Easter school holiday. Litter-Free Dorset are excited to announce its 32nd annual Great Dorset Beach Clean event. This year we'll see 16 beach cleans hosted by local organisations and community groups take place along the Dorset coast from Lyme Regis through to Christchurch. In the Weymouth area, Castle Cove, Bowleys Cove and Ferry Bridge are amongst the beaches scheduled for cleaning as per the timetable that the Great Dorset Beach Clean is put out. Sophie Cully, who's Litter-Free Dorset's coordinator, said, "Get involved with this year's Great Dorset Beach Clean to have some fun, meet like-minded people from the community and take part in an Easter litter hunt. Help us clear up our beaches prior to the summer season so that we can spread the message that in Dorset we like to keep our beaches clean." Last year's event saw over 300 volunteers take part. There were 19 cleans across Dorset coast, and by working together they cleared up 165 bags of rubbish, including tyres, buried rusty lobster pots, tents, oil drums and a gazebo from Dorset beaches. Now, if you want to join in with this year's Great Dorset Beach Clean, check the Litter-Free Dorset social media platforms to stay updated and find out all the dates and locations. And Facebook is at Litter-Free Dorset. They're on Instagram at Litter-Free Dorset as well, and on Twitter at Litter-Free Dorset as well. And spread the word and see if you can get lots of people from your community to join in with that beach clean. Good to clean up our local beaches and get rid of that rubbish. Now, Fish and Fritz in Weymouth, we've mentioned Fish and Fritz a few times over the last couple of years, have been awarded 2 more awards to add to their collection. They've been named as one of the UK's 10 best fish and chip restaurants and were also announced as one of the UK's 50 best fish and chip takeaways for 2021-2022 at the same time. Fish and Fritz are the only chippy in Weymouth to make the prestigious list for takeaways and the only restaurant to make the 10 best list in Dorset. The accolade follows an extensive search by leading trade publication Fry magazine to find those chippies serving up the finest fish and chips in the UK. After several rounds of mystery dining by Fry magazine, an anonymous judge sampled the food and assessed key aspects of the business, from the cleanliness of the premises to staff knowledge and professionalism, to social media presence. With the pass mark set very high, Fish and Fritz scored impressively with the mystery diners for both awards, particularly praising their chips and the size of their fish. There we go. Now turning to Dorset Police. Residents are being urged to be aware of rogue doorstop traders. They're going door to door and often selling low quality products at high prices. Local police have reported the practice, which is often referred to as Nottingham knockers, is happening in Dorset, with previous reports recently in Bridport and Sherborne. The police advise that it's not illegal if the doorstop sellers have a peddler's licence and are respectful, but they do ask residents to ask to see the peddler's licence and to make a note of their name. They also advise not to allow anyone into your home and to use simple security measures such as a door chain to prevent any doorstep seller just walking into your premises. If you do not wish to purchase anything from a doorstop seller, you should ask the trader to leave your property, and if they don't leave, they become aggressive or more pushy in their sales pitch, you should advise them that you're going to call the police. Now, staying with Dorset Police, officers are investigating a theft from a supermarket on Portland, and they've released some CCTV images, and there's one up on the screen. Shortly after 12 p.m. on Tuesday the 18th of January, a man entered the Tesco store in Park Road and placed a number of bottles of alcohol with a total value of more than £500 into a rucksack before leaving the store without paying. Police Constable Clifford Ryan of Dorset Police said, "We have been investigating this theft and have obtained a number of CCTV images of the suspect. I'm now issuing the images in the hope that somebody may recognise him. I would urge anyone with information of this man's identity to please contact us." Now, staying with Dorset Police, and another image for you. Let's get that image up. This is one of two images that police have released on CCTV of somebody else they'd like to speak to. There was an incident reported to the police that a 37-year-old local man was assaulted in Queen Street outside the Anything and Everything shop at 9:15 p.m. on Friday the 28th of January. He had been approached by two unknown men, then pushed to the ground and kicked in the head multiple times, causing him to lose consciousness momentarily. He sustained a broken nose and was taken to hospital for treatment. Police Constable Harry Chaplin of Weymouth Police said, "This was a completely unprovoked assault and I'm carrying out inquiries to identify those responsible. I've obtained CCTV images of two men, and we've got one of them here, and I'd like to identify who they are and urge anyone with information to get in touch." Now, if you've got any information on either of those incidents, then do give Dorset Police a call on 101. Or if you'd like to give that information anonymously, and it is totally anonymously if you use Crime Stoppers, you can use Crime Stoppers, the independent charity, and you can call them on 0800 555 111. Now, following a successful and fun-filled day in February for Dorset fostering community, Dorset Council's Youth Voice team, alongside the virtual school and fostering team, will be planning more of these whole family events throughout the year to make sure there's something for everyone to take part in. The recent event took place during half-term at the South West Regional Assessment Centre near Dorchester and was a great success, with 18 families in attendance made up of 21 adult carers and 37 children and young people. The children ranged in age from just 6 weeks old all the way up to 17 years old and included a mix of foster carers, their birth children and the children and young people in their care. The day started with a scavenger hunt, followed with kite flying, arts, crafts and clay, and pizza making at lunchtime. The children and young people were able to enjoy and engage with nature, with some even taking the resident goats and donkeys for a stroll. That does sound like a great day there for those foster carers and the children in their care. Now, with Dorset Council this time, a new company is to provide care now and in the future for Dorset Council residents. Dorset Council is creating a new company to provide adult social care for residents now and in the future. The council will end its current contract with Tricuro and ensure the safe transfer of adult social care services provided to its residents to the new company, which was going to be called Care Dorset. Dorset Council is responsible for arranging the social care for around 4,000 local residents at any one time. Not all care for those residents is provided by Tricuro, they do wish to point out. Dorset Council is working closely with the regulator and all stakeholders to ensure Care Dorset is set up correctly and meets the required standards. The transfer of care services to the new company will happen later this year, but it will not be until at least October. Tricuro will continue to provide care services to residents in Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole. Dorset Council residents will continue to receive the same level of care by Care Dorset, and residents who currently receive care are being contacted directly about the changes. Members of the Tricuro staff who support Dorset Council residents will transfer over to Care Dorset without change to their existing employment contract. So just a splitting of services there, and some services from Tricuro for the Dorset Council area going to a new company called Dorset Care. What have we got now? Commonwealth Day is being celebrated across the county, with flags being raised on council offices. In the west of Dorset, flags will be raised at County Hall in Dorchester and Weymouth Council offices in Commercial Road, Weymouth. Weymouth Town Council will have a flag raising ceremony to recognise Commonwealth Day at 10:30 this coming Monday, the 14th of March, and the ceremony will be held outside the council offices on Commercial Road. The ceremony will be attended by local councillors and is open to all members of the public. The theme for Commonwealth Day 2022 centres around delivering a common future, highlighting how the 54 member countries in the Commonwealth family are innovating, connecting and transforming to help achieve goals like fighting climate change, promoting good governance and boosting trade. Given that 2022 is Her Majesty's Jubilee year, there will also be a special focus this year on the role service plays in the lives of people and communities across the Commonwealth. Now, a sad note, a well-known Weymouth shop is to shut after 40 years of trading in St Mary Street. Helen's Whole Foods in St Mary Street has been serving fresh produce to the Weymouth public since 1986, but the long-standing business is set to close in early April. Originally from Upton, Helen Davies runs the shop and has said she is closing the independent Whole Foods store after deciding the time is right to embrace retirement. Mrs Davey, who currently lives in Dorchester, said, "Over the years we have had loyal customers that come from far and wide. I enjoy running the shop, but I think it's the right time for me to retire. I have plans to catch up with friends and family and move back to live in the Weymouth area." Admittedly, another reason behind the closure is how much the COVID pandemic has affected the business. It's been a struggle over the past 2 years. I'm sure it has been for a lot of other people too. The shop currently employs 4 members of staff that work throughout the week and Saturday. So that's Helen's Whole Foods that will be shutting by early April in Weymouth. That'll be a sad loss to the town. I know many people who use that store. Now, opposition is mounting over plans for a very large development that is planned for the former MOD site at Newton's Cove on the edge of the breakwater at Weymouth. At a packed public meeting last week, residents and councillors questioned Juno Developments over its plan for the former Binkley site. The plan looks to build 189 homes, a 65-bed care home, a gym, a swimming pool, a spa, restaurant and offices. Residents have commented that a major issue for the development is the access routes through Hope Square and up Boot Hill, neither which would be able to cope with the additional traffic, which may be more than 20 extra lorry and 400 extra car movements a day. Also, the levels of traffic pollution in this area, which are already a great concern to residents, would be increased. The fact that the proposal also has no affordable housing has also met with criticism from locals. The plans also propose a multi-storey development, the height of which is felt would be detrimental to the World Heritage Site. The developer has since said that it will look again at the design submitted at its planning application to Dorset Council and wants to work with local residents and councillors. So that's the Newton's Cove site there. Quite a big development. We'll just have to wait and see how those plans may change so it isn't so much of an impact on the local area. Now, a crop of creative ideas have been put forward by NHS staff, and they've been awarded more than £13,000 to help provide extra support for patients in Dorset. More than 1,300 people voted for their favourite suggestions submitted in the Dorset Healthcare Annual Staff Innovation Competition, Dragon's Den. And the top 5 have now earned a cash injection to make them a reality. The 2 winning projects will help to tackle crippling social isolation among older residents and support people with memory problems. And other proposals given funding will address sleep issues among young people, providing an online singing group for patients with communication difficulties, and trial a new treatment for knee arthritis. What a good mix there is there for those projects. Dragon's Den invites staff from across all of the Trust community and mental health services to come up with fresh ideas to improve patient care, using evidence of likely benefits and showing how such projects could be sustained over a long period. After online voting helped whittle down a shortlist of 10 to 5, staff pitched up to a panel of dragons, as on the BBC TV show Dragon's Den, to secure an investment and bring their ideas to fruition. Now, the 5 ones that are actually going to get some funding, the 2 winners were, first of all, combat social isolation of the elderly, and that's to help address the chronic loneliness felt by many over 65s in Dorset. The team will trial a weekly group to bring people together, backed by local community groups. The sessions will feature a range of interactive activities to improve people's sense of well-being, forge new friendships and encourage them to learn new skills. The second one was Healthy Body and Brain. A memory assessment service aims to establish a local support group for people with mild cognitive impairment, declining memory and thought process, which affects 1 in 5 over 65s. The group will help people manage their condition and reduce the risk of dementia through advice on nutrition and diet, exercise and good quality sleep. The runners-up also getting funding, though, importantly, are PRP injection pilot for knee osteoarthritis. The Dorset Musculoskeletal Service will pilot platelet-rich plasma injections to treat 50 patients suffering from significant pain. Then there's Sleep Tight, Wake Bright. The funding will provide training for child and adolescent mental health services staff to become sleep champions. They will promote sleep hygiene plans to help youngsters recharge their energy levels, make better decisions and build stronger relationships. And finally, aphasia choir. Aphasia is often a life-changing condition caused by an acquired brain injury which affects a person's ability to communicate. Their adult speech and learning therapy team has been piloting an online choir which helps people rebuild their confidence through music therapy, and the funding will help put the popular sessions on a long-term footing. So some really good ideas there and good innovations, and well done to the staff for putting those together, and let's hope they benefit lots and lots of people. And finally, Weymouth Town Council, return to Weymouth Town Council. They have announced, after lighting up the Jubilee clock throughout 2021, the council will once again be lighting up the clock face of the iconic Weymouth landmark in 2022 to raise awareness for good causes. After considering the nominations from the public, the following charities and events have been chosen by a panel of councillors. So they will be lighting up various times during the year the clock face on the Jubilee Clock Tower to support different events and things. The first one is National Apprenticeship Week, which is actually just gone, and the Weymouth Street Pastors, that's gone as well. Julian House, My Time Young Carers, Marie Curie, Young Epilepsy and Epilepsy Action, Autism Acceptance Week, Weymouth Town Charities, Weymouth and Portland Scouts, RNLI May Day campaign, Dorset Mind and Mental Health Week, Foggies, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee obviously, and Weymouth Armed Forces and Veterans celebrations. If you want more information about those chosen causes, visit the Town Council website and look for the Light Our Jubilee Clock for Charity, and you'll find out about the schedule, the colours that will be lit up, and a little bit about those charities. Now that's the end of our headlines this week, and we're now going into our first feature piece. And this week, Janet Hall, who's our regular contributor, one of our regular contributors, looks back at what it was like to go to school in the 1950s.
Hello. We all have strong memories of our first few days at primary school, although nowadays most children tend to go to preschool so it's not such a shock to the system for them as it was for the children of the 1950s and 1960s. This picture shows me in my first days at school. Can you guess which one I am? By the end of the 1960s, I went back to school as a teacher, and my first job was at St Mary's Mixed Infant and Junior Girls' School, which was where the library is now. This is the inscription that was on the wall outside the school. And yes, those are outside toilets. The daily primary school routine hadn't changed much from my own school days. School milk was part of this routine, although often detested by the children. In post-war Britain, school milk, 1/3 of a pint per child, was introduced to schools to supplement the child's diet. In 1971, school milk for the over 7s was withdrawn by Margaret Thatcher, then Secretary of State for Education, and for this she was dubbed Thatcher Milk Snatcher in the press. The School Broadcasting Council for the United Kingdom had been set up in 1947, and the wireless or radio played a great part in the education of school children. Music and Movement was one such programme, and all over the country in school halls children could be found leaping and stretching to the commands on the radio. "Now children, we're going to sway like trees in the wind," would be the instruction on the radio, and all the children, boys and girls, would begin to sway with their arms in the air. Another such programme was Singing Together, where the class would gather to sing traditional folk songs and sea shanties, such as "Oh Soldier, Soldier, Won't You Marry Me?" and the Raggle-Taggle Gypsies. Visits from the school nurse would break up the daily routine. The knit nurse used to make regular visits to check for head lice, and all the children in each class would line up to be examined in turn, their hair being combed carefully with a knit comb to see if there was any infestation. There were also routine eye and hearing tests and visits from the school dentist. Class sizes in the 1950s and early 1960s were large, often over 30 children in a class, as these were the baby boomers, children born after the Second World War. There were no classroom assistants, just the class teacher, and so discipline was strict. At this time, the curriculum was very much talk and chalk, with the teacher standing in front of the class and the children sitting at desks facing the board. Reading, writing and arithmetic, the 3 R's, were very important. Neat handwriting was seen as very important and practiced daily. Nature study was popular and often the only science taught at primary school, with children being asked to bring in things such as leaves and seeds for the teacher to identify and then to use later in art and craft work. This was also the age of the 11+, a series of tests that the children in the top class would take before moving on to secondary school. These included an essay, a maths paper, and both verbal and non-verbal reasoning papers. If you had been in Weymouth in this time, these are some of the schools you might have attended. Remember about your early schooling? Do tell me about it. Bye for now.
Well, thank you to Janet there for taking us back on some memories of schools in the 50s. I have to say, having listened to that, lots of those things are familiar to me, and I wasn't at the school in the 50s. I think I joined Wyke Junior School in 1971. I remember school milk, and I remember sitting in the school hall listening to radio programmes and some of the music and joining in programmes that Janet mentioned there. So yeah, it makes me feel a bit old when I listen to some of those things in Janet's piece this week. But most importantly, if you've got any old photos that you'd like to share with us of your old school in Wyke or Weymouth or South Dorset, or any other old pictures of local buildings, perhaps some that aren't there any longer, we would love to see them, because it does promote ideas for stories for future weeks as well. Do send them in to us at news@Wyke Regis TV, or go on to our Wyke Regis TV Facebook page and post them there, or send them in there. Now, staying slightly with the school theme, if you live near a school, which I do, you'll know how busy it can be at drop-off and pick-up time, particularly on those wet days when it gets a little chaotic. Fortunately, most people who drive children to school and park near schools do it safely and sensibly. But unfortunately, one or two don't. Now, Dorset Council have recognised this and have produced a educational video about travelling to school and parking at school, and it covers all those sorts of things like road safety and parking sensibly, but also is encouraging the environmental aspects and getting people to consider travelling to school on foot or by bike. So I thought it would be good this week just to look at that following the school theme. So here we are, over to the latest Dorset Council video.
Inconsiderate parking and traffic congestion are issues outside many schools. The choices you make affect everyone. Do you really need to drive your child to school? If so, safety first. Reduce your speed near school. Park considerately. Do not park on pavements and park away from crossing points and the school gate. Leave space for people walking and cycling. Encouraging active travel for those who can will result in less congestion. Children who do some form of exercise before school arrive more refreshed, energised and ready to learn. Healthy habits can last a lifetime. Help us improve school journeys in Dorset. For more information, please visit www.dorsetcouncil.gov.uk.
There we go, nice little video there from Dorset Council about driving and getting to school and being safe when you get there and considering others. So I thought that was worth sharing with you. Now, our third piece tonight comes from our usual contributor Lydia, who looks at the issue that's come more to light during COVID, with more people spending more time at home. And this is the increase in dog ownership, and in particular the illicit puppy trade. Now, we have mentioned this before, but there's lots of new information out, and again Dorset Council is very much focusing on this at the moment and have updated their website with lots of new advice. So this week Lydia thought that she would look at the illicit puppy trade and how to protect ourselves and make sure if we're getting a puppy that what we get is a puppy that's been properly brought up and looked after.
Today, with the increase in pet ownership, especially those owning dogs, I thought I would ask the question: are you puppy smart? Over recent weeks there have been many stories in the media about puppy farming and the unscrupulous breeding of dogs for large profits. So what are our local authority doing on this? Dorset Council has become a driving force for the prevention of illegal puppy breeding across the county, and are asking people across Dorset, stop and think before buying a puppy. While Dorset Council trading standards and environmental health teams are working together to raise awareness of the multi-million-pound puppy breeding trade that is happening right under our noses. COVID-19 has brought a significant increase in both the selling of illegal puppies and the cost of puppies. With more people working from home, dog ownership has become more attractive and easier. This very lucrative market means that puppies are being sold from unlicensed breeders, too often without any consideration of the welfare and environmental needs of the puppy. An unlicensed puppy breeder is someone who does not have a dog breeding license but who earns more than £1,000 per year from selling puppies. Here is a short video from the RSPCA, from the Get Puppy Smart website.
Get Puppy Smart. Thinking about getting a puppy. Hi, I hear you thinking about getting a puppy. Me too. But buying a puppy isn't as straightforward as you might think. I'll let you in on some tips that'll help make sure you choose a puppy that's right for you and your family. These cute little bundles of fun don't come without a cost. They need lots of time and commitment. There'll be training, playing, accidents, walking, more walking, and of course, the chewing. Ugh. But wait until you see what they're going to do to your wallet. As well as the obvious stuff, there are loads of hidden costs, not to mention the ongoing stuff like food, vet's bills, and insurance. And remember, they could require your care and attention for 15 years or more. Visit Get Puppy Smart for more information and advice.
Dorset Council has updated its website facilities to allow users to check if breeders are licensed and to report unlicensed breeders. There are also lots of tips on the website on what to look for and check when buying a puppy. These are some of the key tips. No puppy should be sold under the age of 8 weeks and the puppy should be microchipped. Always see the puppy with its mother. Never buy or collect a puppy from service stations, pubs, car parks or any public area. The puppy should be in the home of the breeder. If your puppy is advertised with a passport, this could mean they've been imported. Check whether your puppy has been vaccinated and has been socialized before you take them home. Buying from an unlicensed breeder could mean that your puppy may not have the right medical records and could have hereditary health issues which could lead to heavy vet bills in the future. There are some useful websites on screen now for you. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Well, thank you, Lydia, there, and some very important advice. If you're thinking of getting a puppy, not to discourage you. I mean, I'm a dog owner myself, and I think dogs are absolutely wonderful, but just make sure that those dogs you get are healthy, and make sure you take advice before you get them. Well, that's the end of our main stories this week. It's now time to go over to the weather. And this week, the Met Office have actually changed the format of their weather forecast. So you'll notice it's a little bit different to what we're used to. But here is the weekend weather forecast from the Met Office. And this week we are joined by Jonathan Fortree. I think it's the first time that Jonathan's done a forecast for us.
Hi there. It's a mixed picture across the UK today. If we take a look at the latest satellite and radar imagery, we can see outbreaks of rain sweeping across areas of Scotland and northern England. Some drier and sunnier intervals further south. Still a scattering of showers in the mixture here through the first part of this afternoon, but they will continue to fade, and the rain will also clear off northern areas of Scotland. So some drier intervals in the mixture for many, but just a notable feature down in the southwest beginning to make its presence known. Temperatures, though, at the middle of the afternoon with highs of 13 or 14 degrees and feeling relatively pleasant where we do have the sunshine. Into this evening, though, and that rain will begin to sweep into southwest England and Wales. Windy here as well, with gales and gusts into 50 to 60 miles per hour. The rain then reaching Northern Ireland and other areas of England and Scotland. Staying a bit drier further east though, and underneath all the cloud and the southerly wind flow, temperatures will be staying on the mild side for many, just perhaps falling a bit lower than this in rural spots of Scotland where we see the clearest skies for the longest. Into Sunday morning, and it will be a windy one for western areas with coastal gales still possible across the Irish and Celtic seas. The rain then filtering further north and eastwards, but turning a bit patchier as it does so. We'll then see showers beginning to feed in from the southwest, particularly across southwest England and Wales. These could be heavy at times. Temperatures relatively similar to what we're experiencing today, with highs of 12 or 13 degrees. Looking further ahead into Monday, and it will settle down a bit for some southern areas, but we'll potentially still see some showers and longer spells of rain filtering across northern areas. But to make sure you're up to date with all of that and what's coming our way, make sure you're following us on social media, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. And so slightly different format this week, but we'll see what happens in future weeks. Don't know if that's a permanent change or not. We'll just put our local weather widget up for you. And you can see this week we've got some sunny spells, not so much rain, which is really good, but to expect some wind over this evening. Moving on to the traffic and travel. This week on the trains, services aren't too bad. There is a bus replacement service this weekend between Reading and Woking, and some late night timetable adjustments are being made for those who are travelling through the Bristol Temple Meads area if you're on Great Western late evenings this week. We always recommend checking with journeycheck.com before travelling for the latest information on trains. In terms of roadwork, Buxton Road, there's two-way traffic lights still this week, still going on there. Wessex Water are working in Sandpiper Way and Lobmore Avenue. Travel Dorset in Emerson Road and Goldcroft Road. And SGN, Southern Gas Networks in Spa Avenue, Mount Pleasant Avenue North and Chelbury Close. Moving to what's on at the Pavilion Theatre. 13th of March, that's tomorrow, Marty Wilde and the Wildcats. 16th of March, Sir Ranulph Fiennes Living Dangerously. 19th of March, Dizzy Lizzy as Thin Lizzy. 22nd of March, that'll be the day, 35th anniversary show. 24th of March, Nish Kumar, Your Power, Your Control. 25th of March, Someone Like You, the Adele Songbook. 26th of March, Rock for Heroes. And 31st of March, Beautiful Noise, celebrating the music of Neil Diamond. The Knowth Fort next weekend is their Science Festival. April the 9th to the 16th is the Easter at the Knowth. Easter egg hunts and all sorts of things going on there. Dorset Art Weeks, May the 21st to the 29th. Of course, they'll be joining in with the Platinum Jubilee celebrations in June, and they've got their Victorian weekend in July. Of course, as I've said many weeks, if you've got anything coming up for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, do let us know at news@whitecreatures.tv. We would love to share it with everyone. We now come to our film review this week, and the film this week is called Moonshot. Like many 20-somethings her age, Sophie is facing the world of choices. Sure, there's the future stuff, the family stuff, and the job stuff. But where is she truly confused in is the big choice, the momentous one, the top of list one that stands out. What to do about him? Her long-term boyfriend, Calvin, has moved with his family and taken a job out of town, as in, like, way out of town. A published scientist, Calvin's posting was supposed to be temporary, and now that temporary is beginning to read more like permanent. Then there's Walt, who's also confronted with choices, but maybe not so many. He's pretty content with his going-nowhere assistant barista job in the college bookshop and his solitary existence. That is, until he meets Ginny, and the closing time to sunrise hours he spends with her convinces him that she's the one. The time just flies, but sadly at dawn so does Ginny, off to where her new life is waiting. A romantic comedy with a twist, Moonshot follows Walt and Sophie as they join forces in order to be reunited with their significant others, embarking upon a lively journey that winds up taking them both wildly and unexpectedly off course. It's coming soon on digital download. It sounds really interesting. Let's have a look at the trailer now.
Oat milk latte, light foam.
Hey, how's the Mars boyfriend?
Long distance dating sucks.
How long have you guys been together?
8 years.
8 years? How did you manage that?
He checks all the boxes.
Oh, you mean literally. Strong jaw, mental fortitude, six-pack.
We had a plan, and then he got his Martian dream job. So I enrolled in the Mars program.
You ever worry the wrong person is headed to the wrong planet?
Goodbye forever, Walt.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello?
Hey.
What are you doing here? Who sneaks onto spaceships?
I can explain. Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay?
This is gonna suck, isn't it?
Only for 35 days. You have to keep a low profile. All right, you guys. I'm your captain.
This is Sophie, my girlfriend. Long-term
I
girlfriend.
don't remember you from orientation. What happened? Did you have to come right back and just rip his jumpsuit off?
Hey, what's up?
I just miss you.
Sorry, do we have a call scheduled?
Come on, let's go have some fun.
I don't do fun.
You also don't fly on rockets or conspire with stowaways.
Sophie for what?
$100 says you just sent that into your wrist. Just gotta face it, you're a space criminal now.
A historic journey to make life more meaningful. Now that is a story people want to hear.
You've spent your entire life trying to check an impossible set of boxes.
I can't risk the plan.
When you find that thing that you're willing to cross the entire universe to be with, make sure it's ready to do the same for you.
It doesn't matter how far you travel. You can never escape yourself.
Did you just come up with that?
No, bitch. That is a very common phrase.
There we go, that's Moonshot. That's coming soon on digital download. Well, we've come to the end of another programme. It goes so quick each week. Just a reminder that the regular services at All Saints Church are 8 o'clock tomorrow and 9:30. The 9:30 will be live streamed, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church. And of course, we'll be back here shortly for our Saturday evening quiz. The stream will go live at 7:15 and the quiz will start at 7:30, and all are welcome. It's free, it's family friendly, and it's fun if there's nothing for you on TV or anything you've recorded you want to watch this evening. And of course, if you don't watch it live, like this news programme, you can watch it anytime in the future on Catch Up. It's stored on YouTube and on Facebook. So, you know, if you don't join us on a Saturday evening for the quiz and you've got nothing to do in the week, you can find us on YouTube and you can replay the quiz and join in with family members in the week. Thanks for joining me this evening. I will be back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. If you've got any stories for us, any news, do drop us a line during the week at news@White TV. Hope you have a good weekend and a good week ahead, and I look forward to being back with you next week.